You know, we all love setting goals. It gives us a rush, a sense of direction, a moment where we feel like we're taking control of our future. When we say, I want to be successful, I want to build a business, I want to be financially free, there's a surge of energy that comes with that clarity. But here's the truth that most people don't like to hear. Setting a goal is easy. Anyone can write down a goal on paper. Anyone can daydream about a better future. The real question is, what are you doing every single day to support that vision? You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits, and that's not just a catchy phrase, it's reality. Your goals are the blueprint, yes, but your habits are the bricks and mortar. They're what you lay down daily to build that vision into something real, something lasting. Think about it. If you say you want to write a book, but you don't have the habit of sitting down to write day after day, then that book stays trapped in your mind. If you say you want to become financially independent, but your daily habit is spending every dollar you make, scrolling for hours, avoiding hard work, then that goal is just an illusion. People confuse inspiration with transformation. A goal might inspire you, but it won't transform you. Habits do that. The quiet, repetitive actions you take when nobody's watching, that's where success is built. Most people don't fail because they lack ambition. They fail because they rely on occasional motivation instead of consistent action. They set big goals, but when life punches them in the mouth, when stress hits, when motivation fades, they fall back, and they fall hard. Not to their dreams, but to their patterns, their defaults, and that's why habits matter more than you think. They're your safety net, they're your system. When the high of goal setting wears off, habits are what carry you forward. When your mind starts whispering doubts, when fear creeps in, it's not some magical motivation that saves you. It's routine. It's what you've trained yourself to do. That's why if you don't consciously build good habits, you will unconsciously fall into bad ones. There is no neutral ground. You're always becoming something, either by design or by default. The vision you set with your goals is like a destination on a map. But having a map means nothing if you never take the steps to move in that direction. Habits are those steps, repeated, relentless, non-negotiable, and let me tell you, those small daily habits, they don't always feel powerful. Waking up early, reading 10 pages a day, planning your day before it starts, working through boredom, saying no to distractions. These things seem small, insignificant even, but do them long enough, and they become the difference between people who talk about success and people who live it. You know why most people never reach their goals? Because they think success is one big leap, one lucky break, one huge win. But success isn't a moment, it's not an event, it's a process. It's layers of discipline stacked on top of each other, built quietly over time. The world only sees the top layer, the result, but what built it is hidden in the habits no one saw. That's the truth. You can tell me your goals all day long, but if I look at your habits, I'll show you your future. You say you want success. Show me your routine. Show me what you do when you're tired. Show me what you do when nobody's holding you accountable. That's where the truth lies, because pressure doesn't break habits. It reveals them. And if your habits don't match your goals will never become reality. So yes, dream big, set goals, write them down, speak them out loud. But after that, ask yourself, what am I doing today, right now, that brings me closer to that future? What habit can I build, not just once, but every day, no matter how I feel? Because when the pressure hits, when life gets heavy, you will not rise to the level of your dreams, you will fall, and you'll fall right into the system you've built. The only question is, have you built one strong enough to catch you? That's where the real work begins. Desire is a powerful thing. It's the spark. It's the fire in your gut that makes you say, I want more than this. That moment when you feel fed up with average, when something deep inside says, I was made for something greater, that's desire speaking, and make no mistake, nothing begins without it. No dream is born without that inner flame pushing you forward. But let's get something straight. Desire alone isn't enough. It's never been enough, because while desire starts the engine, it's discipline that keeps you moving when everything in you wants to quit. See, most people think wanting something badly is the same as working for it. It's not. People say, I want success, but they're not willing to pay the price. They want the result, but they don't want the repetition. They want the praise, but they don't want the process. And this is where most people fall off, right here, because they thought desire would carry them through the storm. But storms don't care about your feelings. The wind doesn't stop blowing because you want it to. You have to keep walking anyway, and that takes discipline. Desire gets you excited. Discipline gets you results. Discipline means doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It means waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It means choosing growth over comfort, repetition over novelty, structure over chaos. Discipline doesn't ask you how you feel. It doesn't care if it's raining outside or if you had a rough night. It shows up every day without excuses, and that's what separates the dreamers from the doers. You'll notice this pattern in every successful person: discipline over time. They didn't just want it. They built systems around their desire. They turned that emotion into routine. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards consistency. You can have all the ambition in the world, but if your actions don't match it, nothing happens. Think about how many people you know who are full of desire, full of ideas, full of I'm gonna, and one day. And yet, years go by, and they're still stuck in the same place. Why? Because desire without discipline fades. It burns hot, then dies out. But discipline, it's cold, it's not flashy, it's not emotional, it's routine, it's structured, it's boring even, but it works. It moves the needle, it compounds, and over time it builds something desire alone never could: momentum. Once you've got momentum, discipline starts to feel less like a chore and more like identity. You stop thinking about whether or not you feel like doing something. You just do it because it's who you are now. That's the shift. That's when you stop chasing your goals and start becoming them. Here's the part most people miss. Discipline actually protects your desire. You won't always be motivated. You won't always feel hungry or inspired or clear. Life will throw dirt on that fire. You'll have setbacks, stress, doubt. You'll want to give up. And in those moments, your emotions will lie to you. They'll try to convince you to stop. But discipline, if you've built it, becomes your anchor. It keeps you grounded when the storm hits. It reminds you who you are, what you committed to, and why you started. Desire is about vision. Discipline is about values. Desire says, I want to change my life. Discipline says, then I'll do what it takes, even when it's hard. And let me tell you, discipline isn't something you're born with. It's not a trait you either have or don't. It's a skill, and like any skill, it's built through repetition, day in, day out. You don't become disciplined overnight. You become disciplined by choosing the hard thing over the easy one again and again, until that hard thing becomes second nature. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Growth always is. But the discomfort of discipline is nothing compared to the pain of regret. Regret for not following through. Regret for knowing you had the potential, but never lived up to it. That kind of pain stays with you. But if you choose discipline, that pain becomes purpose. That struggle becomes strength. Every day you show up, even when you don't want to. You prove to yourself that you're not controlled by mood, by circumstances, or by excuses. You're in charge now. So the question isn't whether you want success. I already know you do. The question is, Are you disciplined enough to become the person who earns it? That's the real test. Everybody wants to know the secret to success. They're looking for that one big move, that one breakthrough moment, that magic key that unlocks everything, and yet that's not where success hides. It's not in the spotlight. It's not in the applause. It's not in one lucky opportunity or one perfectly timed risk. No, success is hidden in the tiny, unglamorous, ordinary decisions you make every single day, the ones nobody sees, the ones you think don't matter. You see, people are always waiting for their life to change after some big event, a business deal, a big win, a promotion, a fresh start. But that's not how it works. Life doesn't change because of one grand decision. It changes because of hundreds of small ones, stacked on top of each other, repeated over time. You don't become successful when the world finally notices you. You become successful in the dark, when you're alone, doing the right thing over and over again. That's where it begins. It's the decision to wake up when the alarm goes off, instead of hitting snooze. It's the decision to work on your craft for one more hour, even when you're tired. It's the decision to say no to distractions, to protect your focus, to do what needs to be done even when no one's watching. These are the moments that shape your future, not the ones on stage, but the ones behind the curtain. But the problem is, because they're so small, so easy to dismiss, most people ignore them. They think, one skipped workout doesn't matter, one wasted day isn't a big deal, one bad habit won't ruin anything, and maybe they're right once. But it's never just once. One turns into two, two turns into 10, and before you know it, a pattern forms, and that pattern becomes your life. The same works the other way around. You drink one glass of water instead of a soda. You make one sales call you didn't feel like making. You study for 1 hour instead of scrolling your phone. Do that again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, and suddenly you're becoming someone different. You're stacking small wins, you're creating momentum, and that momentum begins to change everything. That's why success is never owned, it's rented, and the rent is due every single day, not once a week. Not when you feel like it, every day, and it's those small daily payments, those choices you make when nobody's clapping, that build the foundation of your results. The truth is, most people know what to do. They don't need more information, they need more consistency. They don't need more motivation, they need better habits. They need to understand that the little things matter far more than they think. Because when you zoom out, those little things aren't little at all. They're everything. The scary part, your future is already being decided. It's just being decided quietly, in the little things you choose to do or not do each day. Your health, your wealth, your mindset, your relationships, they're all a reflection of your daily decisions. You can't escape that. You don't suddenly land at success. You arrive there because you kept taking one small step in the right direction, over and over and over. You don't have to do huge things to build an extraordinary life. You just have to do ordinary things extraordinarily well, and do them every day. Show up, be consistent, keep your word, follow through. These are the basics, but they're rare. Everyone's looking for shortcuts, for hacks, for something easier. But what works has never changed. What works is discipline, effort, and patience applied to small things that compound over time. So if you want to change your life, stop looking for a miracle. Start looking at your day. Start asking, what small thing can I do right now that brings me closer to who I want to be? Don't underestimate the power of doing the right thing today. Even if it seems small, even if no one notices, because every small decision either moves you closer to success or further away. You don't need a massive breakthrough. You need better daily decisions. That's the real secret. Your mind is always listening. It listens when you speak out loud, and it listens even closer when you speak to yourself in silence. Every thought, every word, every belief, it's all shaping you. And whether you realize it or not, you are constantly programming your mind. The question is, are you doing it by design or by default? Autosuggestion is the process of reprogramming your mind with intentional thoughts, repeated daily, until they sink so deep they become part of who you are. It's not wishful thinking. It's not standing in front of a mirror, saying things you don't believe and hoping something magical happens. It's about planting a clear, purposeful message into your subconscious so many times that your brain starts to accept it as truth, and once it does, it begins to act in alignment with it. The reason this matters is because your subconscious doesn't argue. It doesn't filter. It doesn't analyze. It just accepts what it hears the most. If you're constantly feeding it doubt, negativity, fear, and limitation, then that's the framework it builds your reality on. And when that becomes your inner belief system, it doesn't matter what your goals are. Your mind will always pull you back to what feels familiar, what feels safe, what matches the story you've been repeating to yourself for years. But the opposite is also true. If you consistently tell yourself, I am focused, I am capable, I am building a powerful life, and you reinforce that message daily, over time, your subconscious accepts that as your identity. And once your identity shifts, your behavior follows. You start making different decisions. You start walking with more intention. You don't self-sabotage anymore because the new story in your head won't allow it. That's how powerful autosuggestion is. It doesn't just motivate you, it transforms you. But here's the catch: it only works if you do it every day. Repetition is everything. You can't say it once and expect to change. You can't say it sometimes and expect consistency. Your mind needs direction the same way your body needs food, daily, without exception, because if you don't feed it, it starts feeding on whatever the world throws at it. And most of what the world throws is noise, doubt, distraction, and fear. That's why you need to take control of the message. Every morning, every night, you need to speak life into your vision, not vague ideas, not empty hypes. Specific, emotional, focused words that align with the future you're building. You write it down, you say it out loud, you repeat it until it's burned into your thinking. And when it feels awkward, when it feels forced, that's how you know it's working. Because you're breaking the old story, and the old story won't go quietly. Let me tell you something real. Most people never change because their self-image doesn't change. They try to build a new life on top of an old identity. They hustle, they grind, they set goals. But deep down, they still believe they're not good enough. They still see themselves as the person who always quits, the person who's unlucky, the person who doesn't have what it takes, and that internal image pulls them back every time. But if you can change that image, if you can rewire what you believe to be true about yourself, everything around you starts to shift. Autosuggestion is how you do that. You become your own coach, your own motivator, your own mental architect. Every time you repeat a phrase with belief, you're laying down new mental tracks, and the more you walk those tracks, the stronger they get. Eventually, they become the default path, and that's the goal, not to fake confidence, but to build real confidence from the inside out. Now understand this, it's not about lying to yourself, it's about choosing which truth you live by, because both fear and faith are beliefs in something you can't see. One keeps you stuck, the other moves you forward. You get to decide which one runs your mind, so don't leave your mindset to chance. Program it, shape it, speak the words that lead you to the future you want. Say them with conviction, say them when it's hard. Say them when nothing around you looks like it's working, because that's when they matter most. That's when you're not just repeating words, you're rewriting who you are. And when that happens, your results will follow. Because once the mind believes, the body has no choice but to obey. You ever walk into a room and instantly feel your energy shift? Maybe it's calmer, maybe it's more intense, maybe it's chaotic, and you don't even realize it until you catch yourself acting different, thinking different, maybe even slipping into old patterns you thought you left behind. That's the power of environment. It doesn't just influence you, it shapes you, slowly, silently, but deeply. Your environment is always working on you, whether you're aware of it or not. It's not just the people around you. It's the sounds, the clutter, the habits of others, the energy of the spaces you put yourself in. Every single thing around you is either pulling you closer to your best self or dragging you further from it. And most people don't realize they're losing the battle for their potential because they're trapped in an environment that feeds their weaknesses instead of their strengths. Now, let's connect this back to habit. Because here's the truth, your habits are shaped by what's around you. You don't rise above your environment, you reflect it. You don't become disciplined in a space that encourages laziness. You don't stay focused in a space built for distraction. You don't develop strong habits in a weak atmosphere. That's why you need to design your environment with the same intensity you use to design your goals. Want to change your life? Don't just look at your behavior. Look at where your behavior is happening. Look at who you're surrounded by. Look at what's easy to access, what's tempting you, what's interrupting you. Look at the mood of the room, the tone of the conversations, the pace of the people you spend time with. Because your habits are not just about willpower. They're about structure. They're about triggers. And most triggers come from your environment. If your phone is the first thing you see in the morning, distraction will be your habit. If junk food is everywhere in your kitchen, unhealthy choices will be your habit. If your circle makes fun of discipline, mock success, or shrug off growth, mediocrity will become your habit. But on the flip side, if your space encourages focus, if your routine is supported by systems, if your circle is sharp, driven, and pushing forward, then progress becomes your natural state. The smartest people in the world don't rely on motivation. They build systems that make the right thing easier and the wrong thing harder. That's what shaping your environment is all about. It's not about forcing success, it's about removing friction and making success the default path. You don't have to fight against your environment every day if you create one that works for you, not against you. And this is deeper than just productivity. It's identity. Because once your environment supports good habits and those habits start sticking, they begin to shape how you see yourself. And how you see yourself is everything. That's the chain. Environment shapes habit. Habit shapes identity. Identity shapes destiny. That's why people stay stuck in the same cycles year after year. Not because they lack desire, but because they never change what's around them. They keep trying to become new without leaving the old. You can't plant seeds in toxic soil and expect growth. You can't keep hanging around people who make excuses and expect excellence. You can't leave your space full of clutter, noise, and distraction and expect your mind to stay clear and sharp. Your outer world reflects your inner world, but more importantly, your outer world reinforces your inner world. Every day, so make it easier to win. Build an environment that pulls you into your purpose. Set your space up to reflect the future you're building, not the past you're trying to escape. If you want to be healthy, put healthy food where it's easy to reach. If you want to read more, leave your book open and visible. If you want to be focused, clean the chaos from your workspace. If you want to level up, surround yourself with people who push you, challenge you, inspire you. Make success automatic, not optional. And if you're stuck right now, not moving like you should be, look around before you look within. Sometimes the problem isn't who you are, sometimes it's where you are. Because even the strongest seed can't grow in the wrong soil. Change your environment, and your environment will change you.